All right, we have breaking news. The Labor Department releasing the April jobs report moments ago. I need some good news on this Friday. Christine Romans, you're taking a look at them, and
I do have some good news because March did not feel very good, I got to tell you. And it looks as though we've got things better in April. In March, revised 85,000 jobs created. That is not good. 223,000 jobs created, though, in April. That is good. What happened here in March? There was some weather. There was a strong dollar. There were a lot of different things happening in the economy. And for some reason in March, businesses just were not hiring in big numbers. We were worried that that might be portending something slowing down in the U.S. economy. But instead, in April, you have companies picking up the slack again and starting to hire. The unemployment rate essentially staying unchanged at this 8-year low of 5.4%. So that's a good number there, too. 5.4% for the jobless rate. Remember, it had been a long time where we were seeing 7, 8, even 9% unemployment, almost 10% at some points. So that's a good number to stay there. Futures are higher. Stock futures are higher. We told you that UK election was one reason why investors were happy, but they also like this number. Now, why am I showing you this crazy chart here? This is the labor force participation rate. You guys, as the election gets underway in full force, you're going to be hearing more about this. Every month we have these job numbers that have been strong and consistently strong, but the labor force participation, this is the percentage of the adult population not out there looking for a job, not in the labor market. That number is too low. So you're going to hear people say, oh, these job numbers are strong, but there aren't enough people out there in the labor market. So this is a political number. You're going to be hearing more and more about this, even as we see strengthening in the job figures. Broad-based strength in the job market, not energy companies. They haven't been hiring all that great over the past few months. But again, another strong month after a dip, a real dip in strength in March. You guys?
But good for you saying that strong is a defined term, because when you look at that graph that Christine just put up about who's still in there looking for jobs, it explains why we have situations like what we're dealing with in Baltimore right now, and people desperate for jobs. Christine, thank you very much.
Wages up. Can I tell you, wages up 2.2%? That's another important number in here. Wages starting to strengthen a little bit.
Thank you, Christine. Have a good weekend to you. So here is the question, nice and simple. Did the Clintons take bribes? That's it. That's the question. For all the, well, it looks like, and the troubling coincidences, no. Either this book, Clinton Cash, has proof that they were on the take, or is there proof of the opposite, that there were no bribes? There's another explanation. Once and for all, let's have it out with people who say they understand their side. Former White House special counsel to the Clinton administration, Mr. Lanny Davis. CNN political commentator, host of the Ben Ferguson show, Ben Ferguson. Ben, for the purpose of this, you are the prosecution. Lanny, you are the defense. Ben, what is your best case? Is there a bribe? Where? How do we know?
If Hillary Clinton was not the Secretary of State, would this many people have given this much money, tens of millions of dollars from foreign governments during her time? The answer is no. There's no way that this many foreign governments would have given money to the Clinton Foundation. And the proof of it is they weren't giving the money before she was the Secretary of State, when the Clinton Foundation was around. So this was, hey, we need favoritism of the State Department. We need deals with the State Department. We need good relationships with the Clinton Foundation, because that means we have a better relationship with the United States government, which she represents. And that's exactly why they wrote serious big checks to the Clinton Foundation.
Lanny Davis.
No juror can accept a prosecutor who says, my facts are, there is no way. Or my facts are, I'm speculating on people's motives who actually might want to do good by giving philanthropic money. So those aren't facts, those are opinions. So with all due respect to Ben, that's not an argument that a jury would vote on. I'll give you facts, not opinions. Let's take the uranium deal. Fact. The body of people who approved that deal were 9 governmental agencies, including the Defense Department, the State Department, and the Treasury Department. And the State Department representative, an Assistant Secretary of State named Jose Fernandez, said, I never heard from Hillary Clinton ever. Fact, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, an independent body, approved that transaction. Fact, the Utah Radiation Commission, a pretty red state commission, approved that transaction. So with all due respect to my friend Ben, the prosecutor doesn't state facts. I've stated facts that contradict the notion of a bribe.
Ben.
I've got one question, and that is this. How is it that when Hillary Clinton was not at the State Department, the amount of money that was coming in from foreign governments wasn't even remotely close to the massive amounts of money that was coming in. And you could even say first-time donors from foreign governments that never gave money before the Clinton Foundation. And all of a sudden, she's at Secretary of State, and they go, oh, now I want to give you $1 million? I'm sorry. I think the average juror would say that's bribery.
I think the average juror would hear that you didn't state a single fact, but ask hypothetical questions.
The fact is they didn't give the money before.
Excuse me, Ben.
What made them give the money?
Prosecutors don't interrupt defense attorneys if they're courteous. On TV, you might interrupt me. I am going to finish my point.
Thank
You did
goodness
not
we're not in
state.
court.
You're still interrupting. So
Go
thank
ahead,
you,
Lanny.
Ben.
How do you
There
explain
is not
the
a
fact that they
single
gave all
fact-
this money?
Okay. There are two possible explanations. One is that they were badly motivated, seeking a favor from Hillary Clinton. No fact that any favor was ever received. Another possibility is that their grants to good things, which I can prove to you if I had the time, every government contribution was a direct grant to help feed people in Africa, cure AIDS, and lots of other good things.
So wait a minute,
I have
Lanny-
facts.
Lanny.
I'm not asking questions.
Lanny, all right, Ben, let me ask you a question. If let's split the baby here for a second. If they gave money with bad intentions, they wanted influence, but they wound up not getting any influence, certainly that's not bribery, but how is that any different than any other political donation scenario where people are giving on the prayer that something good happens to them in the future, which we're all familiar with? How is this any different?
Well, she was the Secretary of State. She wasn't running for office, and they couldn't give this much money to her campaign. It would have been illegal to give this amount of money from foreign governments to her campaign.
If we can't show that she did something, where does this lead?
I don't think you continue to give money if you're not getting anything in return.
But
there
you gotta
was a
show
motive
that they
to give the
gave
money
something.
and continue to give
May I
money. Well,
respond?
but here's the thing. Here's a great question, Chris. We don't know what happened behind the scenes because we don't have emails from Hillary Clinton, which she wiped from her server, about any of these interactions. And so if you want to know what happened, we may never know, honestly, because we don't know what her emails actually even said.
So, Lanny, Ben's point is I can't show you proof because you hid all of it.
All right, thank you, Ben, and let me respond. Let me respond, Ben, because I think you raised the question I was hoping would be my end point here. If Jeb Bush, who I greatly respect and admire, is going to be accused by this author Schweizer of doing the same thing with all the smoke with no facts, which he says he's going to do, I will come back on this program, and you might be the prosecutor of Jeb Bush for not revealing his private emails. And I will say to you, unless you have facts, he has a right to keep private his emails, and Jeb Bush is an honorable man, and you have no quid pro quo, as you just weren't able to cite to answer Chris's question, a single fact or action by Hillary Clinton in her tenure as Secretary of State that was in return for anything else. So your answer as a prosecutor is, I don't know, and no juror is going to vote on an I don't know by a prosecutor when I'm giving you the facts that all the good works of the Clinton Foundation are overlooked, which you have conceded and everybody concedes, while you're raising speculative questions, all smoke, no facts.
Well, there's one thing we do know. The Clinton Foundation wasn't always doing good work. Look at how few of the dollars that came into their foundation actually went out in donations to people that needed it. There is a lot of money that stayed right there for their means.
I got to give you facts.
For their private trips, for their planes.
Excuse me. You said you're making general comments. I'm going to give you facts. How little money? I'll give you facts. 80 cents out of every dollar, if you don't include these HIV program, 88 cents out of every dollar goes to people and good works. Those are facts as opposed to your general characterizations.
Lady,
the jury votes for facts, not for rhetoric.
Final point, Ben.
Have you not seen their bills just for their own personal travel? Millions of dollars on private jets and private planes, and cash going to all the family members in the Clinton family to pay for their glorious five-star lifestyle? You can't say it's all perfect here.
All right.
Ben, I said fact. 88 cents out of every dollar, and you didn't dispute my fact.
There will be people that are going to dispute that.
Case closed.
Ben, let me give you a chance. You can bounce off on the 88 cents the next time we do this. But Lanny Davis, Ben Ferguson, thank you very much for coming on and testing this situation.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you, Ben.
Allison.